Okay, in today's video, we're going to briefly discuss how is Bitcoin created. Now, this is Bitcoin's created, by the way, through uh, mining. However, this isn't designed to be extremely technical video at all. I'm just trying to keep it simple. So I'm more focused on a simple explanation than technical accuracy. But just to give you an idea, if you're totally new to Bitcoin, you're like, wow, what is this all about? How is it created? What is a Bitcoin? Where does it come from? Sort of thing. Then take a look at this diagram. This is my very simple version of a blockchain. As you can tell, I'm not the most technically advanced person in the world anyway, but the basics of a blockchain is this. Bitcoin comes from mining, but mining is basically miners or computers or people who are using computers or special computers designed for mining Bitcoin. And what they're doing is they are completing very complex mathematical problems. These mathematical problems are completed in a ledger form. The ledger is called a blockchain. However, these mathematical problems are literally completed in blocks. Each time a block is completed, the computer or computers are basically given a reward, and that reward is in the form of Bitcoin. Um, the interesting thing about blockchain technology and the way that it works is it's extremely efficient and it's decentralized. In other words, this blockchain exists in no single central location. All of the miners basically have a portion, or in some cases, the entire blockchain, you know, downloaded on their computer. And so basically, what happens is, just to give you an idea of the genius of this, in a block, the information that comes into this block the calculations comes from several places. Well, one of the main places is from actual transactions. So if someone sends a transaction, they're sending information to the block, which creates a computer algorithm that's decentralized that needs to be, or a computer problem that needs to be completed in a decentralized way, meaning there's multiple computers working to solve the same problem. Let me see here. So there's basically multiple, that's very thin. There's multiple computers working to solve the exact same problem. I wonder if this will work better. Oh, there we go. So there's computers from all different places solving this very complex problem. And as they're solving the problem, once the problem gets solved, they'll get a reward, which is Bitcoin. That's a dollar sign, but I guess you could technically use the Bitcoin sign. My art's crude. However, here's what's fascinating. So the next block comes up. A portion of this block, or a hash from this block, a piece of information from this block, is needed for this block to get completed. Therefore, it prevents, there's no way to scam the system, if you will. This block cannot be completed without information from this block here. So you need a piece of this information, or like a hash of this information, for this block to be started and or completed. Since there's multiple miners, again, miners can be anyone, even you can mine if you wanted to. We'll discuss that in another video. But miners are all seeing the exact same information, the exact same problems getting solved with multiple miners. They're all seeing the blockchain. There's no way to scam the information. And again, once that block is completed, then they'll move on to the next block. And every time a block is completed, the reward is Bitcoin, which, by the way, Bitcoin is nothing more than, it's simple for us to imagine it as being an actual coin, but it's not. It's just a piece of information, but it's nothing more than information or a numerical value that's basically used on the blockchain. So when you send Bitcoin, you're basically sending this numerical value back to the blockchain, which you contribute to the mathematical problem. It's basically a ledger as well as a mathematical problem that's totally decentralized. It sounds like it's totally confusing, and it can be confusing, especially if you're not a programmer by nature, or you're not really technically savvy. Like personally, I'm not either. Obviously, as you can tell by my crude drawings. However, once you understand that basically that the blockchain is a ledger, and that the blockchain is so here's the other part that's fascinating about the blockchain. This is part of what makes it so secure. So let's just imagine this is a block right here. Okay, so you send Bitcoin. which means that you send a mathematical piece of information to the blockchain, or that mathematical information also has a value. Currently, Bitcoin's valued a little over $4,000. So that piece of information is worth $4,000. You're sending it to someone over here. So in order for them to get your Bitcoin, it has to go through the blockchain. So when your information goes to the blockchain, it creates it basically adds information here, and this information is creating complicated math problems that are getting solved by miners. These are the miners, these arrows over here. So these mathematical problems are getting solved by the miners, which means, let's just draw an arrow here to represent the miners. Sorry, those are crude arrows. I could have just used this little function up here. So these miners here oh my goodness, that's so crude. The miners are able to see the ledger, the individual. So you sent $4,000 in Bitcoin, you sent one Bitcoin over here to the ledger, and then that Bitcoin went through here. All transactions go through the blockchain. So you sent Bitcoin to the blockchain, and this person over here received the Bitcoin. So this is a triple entry book accounting system, if you will. In other words, a triple entry ledger system. It's one of the only ones in the world, and it's decentralized. So you sent a Bitcoin, and this person received a Bitcoin. You know how much you sent, they know how much you sent, and anybody, any miner, anyone who has access to the blockchain can see how much you sent. So there's basically 1, 2, 3 parties confirming this information, confirming this transaction. This makes the blockchain extremely, extremely secure. This is why Bitcoin is it's nearly, well, it's impossible to manipulate. It's impossible to hack. It's just one of the most complete forms of electronic accounting that exists anywhere in the world. This technology is getting used in lots of places, not just in cryptocurrency, meaning they're using this technology, they're going to be using this in patient records. There's a movement to try to create the internet on a blockchain, so the information doesn't process through actual servers. Instead, it's some sort of a blockchain technology that is stored on even part of your home computer and other people's home computers. It's very fascinating technology.